Today I will present about infrared. What is infrared? Infrared, sometimes called infrared light, is electromagnetic radiation with wavelength longer than those of visible light. It is therefore invisible to the human eye. IR is generally understood to encompass wavelength from the nominal red edge of the visible spectrum around 700 nanometers to 1 millimeter. Some of the uses of infrared light, such as in household appliances like headlamp, toasters, and remote controller, it uses the infrared radiation to transmit heat or to transmit IR energy to IR receiver in order to communicate. Infrared sensing like security cameras, infrared sensors, night vision goggles, all objects on Earth emits IR radiation in the form of heat. This type of cameras and sensors can detect heat. We also use infrared light in scientific instruments like IR spectrometer, IR CCD imaging, and weather satellite. The principle is used in various types of instruments that is used in many scientific fields such as chemistry, astronomy, and etc. The advantage of infrared radiation is it provides secure communication due to line of sight are point-to-point mode of communication. The battery used in infrared device lasts for long duration due to low power consumption. It has response time faster than thermocouple. It also provides good stability over time. No corrosion or oxidation can affect the accuracy of infrared sensor. It also delivers high repeatability. Disadvantage of infrared radiation. Infrared frequencies are affected by hard objects, smoke, dust, sunlight, and fog, plus it doesn't work through walls. Infrared wave at high power can damage eyes. In monitor and control application can control only one device at one time. Moreover, it is difficult to control over things. It requires line of sight between transmitter and receiver to communicate. It supports lower rate data transmission compared to wire transmission. Uses in spectroscopy. Infrared spectroscopy, IR spectroscopy or vibrational spectroscopy is the measurement of the interaction of infrared radiation with matter by absorption, emission, or reflection. It is used to study and identify chemical substances or functional groups in solid, liquid, or gaseous forms. The method or technique of infrared spectroscopy is conducted with an instrument called an infrared spectrometer or spectrophotometer, which produces an infrared spectrum. A beam of infrared light is produced, passed through an interferometer, and then split into two separate beams. One is passed through the sample and the other passed through a reference. The beams are both reflected back towards a detector. However, first they pass through a splitter which quickly alternates which of the two beams enter the detector. The two signals are then compared and a printout is obtained. As we know, spectroscopy is a very powerful technique for analytical chemistry. It helps us to understand how light interacts with a certain compound or element, allowing us to identify it. There are several types of spectroscopy. The most common one is visible spectroscopy, which allows us to analyze in the visible range. This is good especially for calorimetric analysis and determination of the amount of analyte in solution, for element detection or specific compounds which emits or absorb invisible light. But one of the most important types of spectroscopy is infrared spectroscopy, which works in the infrared region. Infrared light is associated with vibrations. That's why we usually associate infrared light with the heat thermal motion.